I never thought the person who'd try to ruin my first anniversary trip would be my own older brother, but Kevin has always had a talent for making everything about himself. Growing up, he borrowed my clothes without asking, took credit for my achievements, and once even showed up to my job interview for moral support and somehow ended up talking more than I did. So when my wife and I planned a quiet anniversary getaway to a mountain cabin with no neighbors, no crowds, and no drama, I should have known peace wouldn't come that easily. We hadn't told anyone the exact location, just that we'd be out of town. But 2 weeks before the trip, Kevin casually mentioned how much he missed nature and how great it would be to unplug for a few days. And then he laughed and said, "Imagine if we all went together." And I laughed too because I thought it was a joke until 3 days later when he sent me a screenshot of a booking confirmation for a cabin 10 minutes away from yours, except it was the same address, same dates, same cabin. Turns out he found the location through my mom, who thought it would be cute if we all celebrated together. And when I confronted Kevin, he brushed it off like always, saying, "Relax, man, I'll barely be there. I just need a break." While my wife stared at me in that quiet way that said, "You're going to fix this, right?" Kevin started texting us daily about plans he wanted to do together, shared hikes, board game nights, a joint grocery run to save money, and even made a group chat called Anniversary Crew with a beer emoji. And when I told him we wanted alone time, he replied with a thumbs up and then sent another message 5 minutes later asking what time we wanted breakfast as a group. That's when I stopped arguing and started planning. Kevin hates unpredictability and absolutely panics when he feels unprepared, so I leaned into that, calling him a week before the trip and acting stressed, telling him I'd messed something up badly, that the cabin owner had double booked and moved us to a backup location, and that I didn't want to ruin the surprise for my wife, so I needed Kevin's help to handle the logistics. I sent him a link to a different cabin listing I'd found, deep in the woods, no paved road, no signal, shared bathrooms, and most importantly, marketed as a survival-style off-grid experience, and told him this was where we were staying now, asking if he could coordinate directly with the owner since he'd already taken time off work. Kevin hesitated, but his pride wouldn't let him admit fear, so he agreed, booked it immediately, and even thanked me for trusting him, while I quietly reconfirmed our original cabin and upgraded it with a private hot tub and catered meals. The morning of the trip, Kevin sent a selfie from a dirt road looking confused and annoyed, asking if the place was supposed to look abandoned, and I replied that it was part of the rustic charm and that we'd be there soon, then muted my phone. We arrived at our actual cabin an hour later, poured wine, and watched the sun set in silence, while Kevin spent the next 12 hours discovering that off-grid meant no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no staff on site, and 3 other strangers who thought he was weird for complaining. And by the time he finally drove back to civilization the next day, furious and exhausted, we were already deep into our anniversary bliss. When he called me screaming about how I tricked him, I calmly reminded him that he chose to book the place himself, that I never asked him to come on our trip in the first place, and that maybe next time he should wait to be invited, and for once he had nothing clever to say. We spent the rest of the week uninterrupted, and when we got home, Kevin stopped showing up unannounced, stopped inserting himself into our plans, and started asking before doing anything involving us, and honestly, that alone made the trip worth it.